Hello everyone. Yesterday I made a video but I deleted it. It was just by mistake, so I uploaded again. Uh, I said about these things you have to consider before starting a business in Dubai, UAE in general, especially Dubai. So I'll start again. Point number one is stay out of construction, manpower supply, any such thing like that. Even trading, where you have to wait where you give credit, because what happens is somebody is going to take that money and not pay you back, consumer services, and not pay you back. Just stay away from construction or any trading where you have to give a big loan or big inventory, as an understand what you can say, balance of payment, um, bills payable, accounts receivable. Yes, accounts receivable. What happens is people, they have a change of heart. They decide I'm not gonna pay this guy, and they just skip down. And it happens quite a lot anyway. Um, Not much is gonna happen. Government is not gonna help you much. If you go to the lawyer, he's gonna charge you money. You're gonna go to the court, then you're gonna pay money again. Lawyer is gonna charge you on a percentage. After winning your money, you're gonna get charged, I think, again. So all these things are to be known. Point number two is don't trust anyone. I'm not saying everybody's bad, but even if you know someone for many years or you think they're a friend, do not give anybody any money, because people are really in need of money. Okay, they have outstanding expenses, they have expired visas which they don't tell you about, they have families back home. You give them any money, they just seamlessly end up spending it, and then this person is nowhere to be found. And that is also very common, even if they are someone you know. If you know someone for 1 year, 2 years, and you think, oh, this was a very nice guy, it's mostly because it's just some sort of play. Okay, so do your own research. If you have to start something, go to the government office, pay there yourself. Everything, for everything there's an office. Pay the government directly. Don't even pay your PRO. PRO is going to charge you something way over money, maybe 200%, 300% for something you could go and do yourself. If you can, just do it yourself. No need to involve anyone. PROs are a necessary evil. When you're not in the country, they will do your thing, and then of course they charge you, but there's a convenience that you are not going to be flying back in. Point number three, again, with all these constructions or anything where there's a subcontractor involved and you are one of those subcontractors, maybe there is like 4 or 5 subcontractors. One of the contractors would take the check from the main contractor and he's just going to disappear overnight, and everybody's going to get stuck in between without any money. If you go back to the main contractor, they will say, we paid our from our side, we don't we are not going to help you. So as a result, you have been duped out of hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions, if that course, no, life takes course, that way. Yeah. um, then most of the business are just oversaturated. The market is oversaturated. Everybody keeps on doing the same repeated ideas. It's, yeah, you go every building, you find a barber shop, a female beauty parlor, grocery, what else, laundry, and then restaurants, cafeterias. I don't see any different business. Okay, everybody's competing against each other with the same business idea. Again and again, the market is oversaturated with everything. Nobody's trying to do anything out of the box. Those who are doing, they don't tell their secrets, and they're the ones playing with millions. So if they are playing with millions, either they are like really geniuses, they know what to do, they know how to be a good leader, or something's off. All those YouTube Ferraris, Lamborghinis you see, they either belong to the genius businessmen or people with very high incomes, or people that are in family business for, I think, generations, big conglomerates, or they have a foot name or something. Uh, they are the ones that have all these things. If you see someone else having a nice car, if his business is just too good to be true, chances are that he's a con artist. He's playing with people's feelings and their emotions, and that is so common. Just don't see those Ferraris on internet and just get impressed, because all those people, some of those people that run business, they don't pay their clients. They don't pay the suppliers, they don't pay their employees for months. They just terminate them illegally. They have cases against them, they have bounce checks. They don't even give a damn about it. So that's one thing. Don't just be impressed with the dazzle. Whatever shines is not gold, as I say. It's not saying that this whole country is clapped. It's a wonderful country. I've been in Middle East for 28 years, including Saudi and UAE. My family is in Saudi, and thing with UAE is that they have kept the standard of living very high. The money buys absolutely nothing at all. Partly being the reason is the rents are too high, the day-to-day expenses are too high, basic necessities are just too expensive. It's just against any um, say anything a human can handle. Gas, for example, is like 70 to 80 dirhams. In Saudi Arabia, it's 17 dirhams, 1 7. It's food is basic necessity. Internet is basic necessity. Internet is too expensive. Rents are too expensive. There's an oversupply of houses. Oversupply of houses in the UAE. There aren't as many people getting visas. It's not that easy, unless of course somebody hires you, or you lash out money starting your own business. It's just a pipe dream. Many people come to this country thinking that they'll start a business or get a job. They go home empty-handed, crying, running, looking for every change they have in their pocket to buy the last ticket and run away. Not everybody's that successful. Job market is really bad. Jobs are just so scarce, and all the top talents from the world are competing. So you're gonna get the job only if you accept the lowest pay, or either you're the best, or you're the um, show of jewel for the company, and that's mostly decorated people. They prefer someone that looks good. um, they prefer people from the western countries, and so that's how the job market is. And it pays really low to some people and very high to some people, and then, even then, there is no job security. You're gonna get fired any day, because at the end of the day, it's just economics. The reason they hired you is for an economical reason. If the reason just doesn't exist, there's no way they're gonna pay you 20,000, 30,000, which you were hoping forever. Okay, someday you're gonna lose your job. This is not a permanent destination. Someday you have to go. Don't just get overly comfortable. This is not your home, not my home. We all have to go someday. Much thanks to UAE for their hospitality and making us feel welcome. But at the end of the day, we are just a foreigner with an ID. We're just a tourist with an ID, even if we have a visa. And maybe 2 years, 2 months, 20 years, when it ends, you have to go. Another thing I have to go back is UAE dirham is one of the strongest currencies in the Middle East, but it buys hardly anything. You can't feed yourself, let's say, for 10 dirhams or 20 dirhams. You can't feed yourself all day. In Saudi, you can feed yourself all day. Sometimes you can feed two people. Food is not that great in Saudi, but um, main reason might be, the rents are expensive and the cooking gas is expensive. And staying with rents, running a business is also not easy, because you have to pay for office space, which is not cheap. If you have workers, you have to pay for their accommodation, which is not cheap. You have to pay for a warehouse, which is not cheap. You could have a factory, which is not cheap. If you have all these things, your annual expense could run into probably a million, and plus you have to pay your salaries, and sometimes the payments, they don't come for 3 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and this is the most frustrating part about UAE. And the government does absolutely nothing to intervene. Okay, they do nothing to ensure that people who are running small businesses, they have their payment on time, and so the economy survives. Big companies like this Arab Tech and all these people that made all these nice buildings you see all over the country, they have, I'm sure, they have never paid all the subcontractors, they have never paid all the laborers, they have never paid most of the suppliers of materials and manpower. They haven't, and they're still in business. Whereas those that provided them business, materials and all these things, they have to be out of business soon, because no matter which door they knock, they will never get the money. Government, I'm not sure why. If somebody is watching my video, I request, please don't take me as an enemy. I'm just asking you as a favor. Ensure that in a situation like this, there's a stamped chamber of commerce or something, there's a government acknowledgement that this business is doing business with another company, and whatever the due bill is, they get it. Otherwise, don't block our WPS, which is wages protection system. We don't have money to feed ourselves. Sometimes we can't even pay our employees. uh, I have to send my workers, I've sent them today. um, Tried my best, but no matter what, payment would never come on time. It could be 3 months, 2 months, 5 months, 8 months. There is no way, no mechanism to ensure that this happens. You get your payment. Every B2B arrangement has to have this enforcement from the law. If you don't pay your carrier or telecom provider 2 3 months, they will send you a legal notification. Your bank will send you legal notification. uh, Anything, your house rent, if you don't pay, you'll get one. So why, when SMEs do business and they don't get paid, they get no protection, right? Small shop owners, small business owners, what is the reason for such a high turnover of businesses? If you go all the prime areas in Dubai, they're all shut. They all have this for rent sign. They've all fled. Even before Corona, 2017, 16, 18, 19, they had hardly any business. Corona made it much worse, but they hardly had any businesses. Then, uh, when they're charged such a high rent, the landlords or people of the area, they don't ensure that they have all the facilities to get as much business as possible. Like sometimes random free parking days, and there is no such thing as promotion, uh, such things like that. Then another thing that I want to say is there are no two things in two stores at the same price. Government doesn't regulate the prices of things in their stores. In Saudi, if you find something in a store for, let's say, 200, and the next store sells it for 300, someone can complain, and Chamber of Commerce comes in and fines them. In UAE, you can get a bottle of water for 1 dirham, you can get it for 2 dirham, you can get it for 40 dirhams, you can get it for 200 dirhams. Nobody is going to enforce anything, and if you say I'm not gonna pay, they're gonna call the police, and you're going to go. Basic things like milk, bread, vegetables, groceries, they are so expensive. And for what reason? UAE is so close to Saudi, Oman. They have good relationships with Pakistan, India, Iran, Turkey, and then the produce is super expensive. Super expensive. They don't even bother trying to grow produce locally and sell it at a nice pricing where everyone has a good benefit. Of course, the rents are high, okay, the prices are going to be higher, but at what extent? So, groceries, basic living things, no good. If you stayed in any other Gulf country, let's say Bahrain or Saudi, a salary of 7,000 dirhams, 7,500, let's say, which is $2,000 is enough to feed you and your family and pay rents and save. But in UAE, your annual monthly expense, if you stay in your own apartment, could run up to 5-6 thousand, and then you drive your own car, and then you eat your own food, 6-7 thousand, 8,000 a month. Again, I'm requesting the government to consider this wisely. I'm not an enemy. I'm requesting the government to consider this wisely. Purchasing power parity of dirham is low. I'm not sure that price is just a speculation or what. And what's the other word? Inflation is very high. All the people that make high salaries are the Emiratis, the elite white people. Yeah, not all the white people, Western people make a high salary, and those they do, they're made to work for hours, maybe 15 hours, sometimes 14 hours a day, where they've lost all the day, and they go back home exhausted to their countries, or at the end of the day to their own families. And where else am I wrong? What else am I missing? Fines, yes. Fines are just astronomical. If you run a business, you can get fined for this and that, for millions of reasons. Of course, you have to abide by the law, but sometimes people break a few rules to make whatever extra buck they have to. So it could be understood: give a fine, give a penalty, but let them make their money. Don't fine them in such a manner that they end up closing down. Even driving, I know people that have 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 dirham fine like it's nothing, right? That's no good. How are you going to save anything? And basically, because if you have a car, you have to go from point A to point B to get more business to work for your basic necessities. You are not going to be able to do it. And then one more point I have to say is the government thinks, I mean, I'm not sure, the economic department thinks or whatever, that the only solution for all the economic problem is to build the next building after the next building after the next building, the next hotel after the next hotel after the next hotel, next mall after the next mall after the next mall, whereas the old one is abandoned. Nobody's taking it, nobody's accommodating it, the rents are too high, they don't even bother after selling or leasing to make sure that this place has a high footfall. Okay, shops open, they're not able to afford the rent, they have to renovate every year or 2 years. Okay, otherwise they'll be kicked out or something. uh, Homeowners, I'm sure they'll have plenty of problems. So making a mall after mall after mall, and all our malls are empty malls. The very few malls that I like in Dubai are Mall of Emirates. It's just fantastic. um, I never liked the Dubai Mall after a few days because it's just an inconvenience. You forget your car, it's too big to walk, and the only attraction they have, this light show, just gets boring after some time. Dubai thinks that building after building after building is going to solve their problem. No, we in UAE are drama people, we are circus people, we are showbiz people, we are salesmen, we are workers, we're producers. We are not the people that think that we can keep spending money building buildings and markets. And by the way, when I'm saying that, let's go back to point number one. You're building all these markets and malls and houses with a with blood on our hands, where laborers are not paid, suppliers are not paid, and they're never gonna get paid, huh? Uh, and manipulative contracting companies with good power and influence, they run the show. So again, you just keep making them richer and richer and richer and richer and richer, and the poor poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer. How is money going to stay? That's not going to happen. uh, People need to have whatever shops that they have. just reduce the rents, okay, let more people come into businesses. If they're not able to afford rents, just give them some concession. But landlords start to threaten them. They start to say, we're going to sue you, we're going to take you to prison. At the end of the day, they just flee the country. They end up fleeing because they don't want to go to prison, because the landlord didn't reduce the rent, which is insanely high. 200,000, 1 million for no reason at all, whereas the whole market is full of empty shops. Empty shops has always been, okay, empty shops. And there's tons of shops where anybody can go to, and let people come in, let them occupy, learn from Asia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines. I've been to Philippines. All these countries, they focus on high footfall. um, Having a high population is always going to be beneficial, because they are going to come in, they're going to work, they're going to create economy, they're going to bring in their money, they're going to spend. If you try to think that we scare people away, it's not going to be in everybody's favor, not even in the favor of the country. The Asia, I love one thing about Asia is the crowd is amazing, the people are amazing. um, People from local country, from the local for whatever country they are from, you can find them, you can find tourists, you can find people that come to work. And the market looks so lively, it's so full of life. Every shop is selling something. And street shops are the life of a country, not malls, not malls. I know it's really humid of a country, but streets is where it's at. People should be allowed to walk on the streets, and please let people wear shorts and small clothes, because it is hot, okay. They're not Muslims, they don't want to be governed by Muslim law. If somebody don't like it, please look away. And if you're promoting the country with all these hip hop stars, movie stars, with tons of photos which they post online, uh, they're on a yacht with fully naked girl with, I think, bikini and champagne, and it's been marketed as come to this country for all these kinds of pleasure. Just don't pretend to be Muslim, okay? I mean, if that's how this country is marketed, let it remain the way it is and bear the fruit, okay? At least let's not say two things at the same time. And once it has begun, let it be, because those who do wrong, they deserve wrong. If someone thinks they can come to UAE for prostitutes, dancing around, drinking, spending on women, they're the ones that are blowing money off in the economy anyway. So all of us, we benefit from tourists, of course. We benefit from tourists. Let them come and do whatever they want. Let just give them a warning before they board a plane that you're not supposed to take drugs, you're not supposed to indulge in these and these things, uh, before they even get their boarding pass, or before they even land, so they don't make a mistake. And if it's marketed as a manner, then let it be the way it is. Let it be the way it is, because now the image of the country is that it's a playground. It's a place of partying, fun, booze, sex. Sheikh Zayed Road is massive place, you know. And there are all these cards on the streets, covering car windows. If they wanted to catch them, they could have been caught and closed down within 1 week. But they haven't, because they are being tolerated, because they bring in tourist money, and they're most welcome to. As long as women are not being forcibly trafficked and forced to have sex with strangers for money, let them do it, or just tell them not to. Close it down. I'm no enemy anyway. I'm really sorry if I said anything wrong. Then, with regards to job market, it's highly competitive. Pay is really low. Even if it is 5-6,000 dirhams more than what they pay in Saudi, Bahrain, that money is going to go poof in just a matter of minutes. I had 100 dirhams at the morning. I hardly ate anything. I hardly spent it anywhere, and now I'm just left with 20 dirhams because of all the high living expenses. That's one of the main things. I'm not sure why the economists they never concentrate on this thing. If money stays in people's pockets, they stay in the banks, which goes to loans, which benefits the economy. If this money goes poof in matter of hours, businesses go kaput, locals go kaput, expats go kaput, and they all flee the country. I think this is all. If I forgot something, I'm gonna say it again in any other video. So this is my honest point. Stay away from any credit-based business. Do only cash basis. Uh, do not trust any stranger. Do not trust anyone. Do not give your money without written proof. And even then, just don't. It's best to pay a government office by directly on your own behalf, other than handing it over to someone else. Mm, uh, Choose your location wisely wherever you're gonna operate. See the viability of your business before you even start. If it's even viable in this region, if it's not, just don't. Choose another place. It's such a lovely place, a dreamy place. Even I don't want to go whenever I come to this place, but uh, you know I was never able to make a big buck. I always have to go back, retreat, and come back with a fresh mind. And every time I do, there's something wrong because there's so many evils. And next was the high standards of living, low purchasing power parity, high inflation, uh, pay discrimination, um, and unregulated prices of everything. All these things contribute to just disaster after disaster. I would request, if anyone from UAE is watching, please, this is my humble request. Don't think that you're going to attract people by the millions. They're going to come in, they're going to blow their savings, and they're going to go back, and this is going to be a victory for the UAE. This is actually a defeat because people came in with high hopes and they go back with nothing at all. This is a big defeat. And after that, whatever UAE does, neighboring GCC countries, they watch with their eyes. They copy this just to make life of expatriates hell, because they consider expatriates as a burden. They make sure that they follow the same suit to make life difficult. They're watching everything, the Salik and high expenses. Namely, I'm not gonna say it. One big as oil-rich country in Middle East with who thinks that they can increase all the living expenses but give nothing back. Bad roads, bad buildings, bad infrastructure. Policemen, they don't have manners. Border agents, they don't have manners. No, none of them. It's a neighboring country I'm talking about, not UAE. So they do this thing. They follow everything UAE does in terms of expenses, but they don't see what UAE is giving back to people, and they don't give that back to people. In terms of doing business, Saudi is still far more stable, but government has openly said if an expatriate runs business here, they are a criminal. Bahrain allows you, so yes, but the market is extremely small. I've been to Bahrain too. Kuwaitis, of course, they're just super xenophobic. They're the most xenophobic, I think, in the whole of Middle East. They just don't like foreigners. Qatar is good, but I don't want to say good about Qatar because I don't want to end up in prison, disappear, end up becoming shawarma. Oman, beautiful place, beautiful place, but money lacks. Seriously, uh, good places for working and saving money in Middle East is actually Saudi and Kuwait, but you will be looked down upon. UAE is very nice, atmosphere is very nice, but whatever you make, it's always, since the day you get in, it's a race against time. Either you get rich or you run away empty handed, and that is bad. So if someone is watching, I would just say that they have two challenges in this country. Money doesn't come into people's pockets easily, and two, it doesn't stay in their pockets easily. And this is going to hurt businesses, job seekers, and everyone. And really sorry, again, it became 30 minutes. I thought I'm going to do it for 5 minutes, but it became a 30 minutes video. Um, I just want to do a public service because a lot of people come to this country thinking of starting a business, and they go crying. They go crying. They have police cases against them. They can never come back. They have blown their family money. They have blown whatever they had because trustable people are so little, so little. So that's it. I'm really sorry if I offended anyone. It's still a lovely country, and I plan on staying another 20, 30 years if I could. If I could. Thank you so much.